Welcome to round one, where we play just the beginning of a game to give you a taste of what it's like. And today we're playing Boonlake, the latest game from Alexander Pfister and Capstone Games. Between its cascading action selection and the massive amount of satisfaction that you can get turn to turn, this is one of the more exciting games we've gotten to the table lately. So let's get right to it so you can see how it plays and then hear what we think about our initial experience with the game. Welcome back to the table. Today, this is a special round one. We've not done a two-player round one in a long time.
It's been a while.
It's been a bit, but we have a special occasion to do so. We have Alexander Pfister's latest, Boonlake, on the table. Yeah. I've played it twice. Ryan's played it once.
That's true.
We want to play it again right now for you. We're going to play the first round. We're not exactly sure how that's going to be defined.
I mean, it's kind of weird. There's technically kind of 4 rounds. 4 scoring phases.
Yes, 4 scoring phases.
And you're going to do 2 scoring phases each round. So we're going to play through the first scoring phase, which is kind of a round.
Yeah, and I'll take you to the top down here to show you. There's these little like channels on the river that goes down here and around to here. Scoring phase is going to happen after this one, and then after this one, and then you're going to go back to the top and come down again. So we're going to go down the river to here. Yeah. And that first round in this game, those rounds, like many of his games, are controlled by the players in terms of how fast they want to potentially move down that road, just like Great Western Trail or Maracaibo in that respect.
Yeah, it definitely has more of a Maracaibo vibe where you can have somebody rushing. Luckily, unlike Maracaibo, the amount of spaces you can move your boat are tied into actions that we're going to take, and you'll see how that plays out. So Maracaibo, you can move to like 7 spaces, so you could just rush the end. This, you can still do that, but there is a minimum number of rounds that each scoring phase will be.
Yeah, effectively the actions here on this board are going to rotate, if you will. People are going to be on their turn selecting one of these tiles, taking it and putting it at the bottom, taking the action, and then taking the movement with their ship down the river left in that space, moving them back up, and then the next player goes. So you might take 4, 3, 2, or 1 movements with your ship.
Yeah.
So if people keep using these lower tiles, the ships are going to move pretty slowly.
And you know, that's something I really like about this game, is that you just described how to play the entire game.
Yeah.
You literally just pick a tile, and there's a card play action on most of them, all but one. Then there's the action that you take, and then there's the action that everybody takes, which is something that's really unique.
And in most cases, including the player who chose the tile. So they get to do all of it except for one tile. And then everyone at the table gets to do that last part, which is really cool because it keeps everyone engaged.
Yeah, for sure.
We've only played this at 2 players, so it'll be interesting to see how it varies at 3 and 4 players. But it's a really interesting system. It keeps the game moving along. And we'll explain each of those tiles as we play right now. But just so you know, the variety of things that happen and the things that they do are, we're going to be putting more tiles out on the board. We're going to be putting our inhabitants out on the board on those tiles, and then converting those inhabitants into houses and maybe settlements, maybe getting some cattle out there, all the while with our ships moving down here and us trying to grab as many points as we possibly can.
We've already set up the game for 2 players, which means seating the board with a few tiles and setting out these scoring tiles here at the bottom. These scoring tiles are twofold. The top part gives you a project to complete, again, kind of like Maracaibo had those projects you could contribute to. And then the bottom is a unique scoring. So each one of these has a unique scoring element that contributes to either the first, second, third, or 4th scoring round. So if we're in the first scoring round, we're looking at the first number. And you want to make sure that you have one of these to complete every turn, or you'll start scoring negative points. So we'll probably talk about these as we take our turns and why we're doing things, trying to at least match one of these goals.
Yeah, so when you play, you just need to know you have to score each one of those or not, because at the end of each scoring phase, you're going to do that. The other cool thing about these that I just want to mention, in most games, you just randomly put 4 of these out. In this game, everyone gets a couple, and they pick one because each spot is specific to a certain player. So I might be able to score more points on this particular project because that's the one I chose.
Right, each player has a color spot where they will score double for their own project, which is super interesting.
So I think that's about it. We'll explain it as we go. We're going to play through that first scoring phase so you get a sense of what you're doing, and then it's basically rinse and repeat after that.
Oh, did you
Ryan,
give me
I gave you first player.
The flower.
It's mostly because I wanted $7 instead of 6, but
oh, that's true.
I don't think it wasn't selfish on my part.
I've got $5. That gives me some kind of advantage, right?
Yeah, so what action are you going to take?
Well, I'm looking at the cards in my hand, and I think...
So the interesting thing is he considers his card choice here.
Yeah.
There are 3 categories of cards. It's like a morning, day, and night. And those are going to relate to those tiles because if you choose like one of these two black tiles, those are the night tiles. So if you want to play or discard a card as the first part of it, you need to have a night card in your hand to do that. Now, keep in mind, you can skip any portion of that tile, but if you do part of an action, you need to do all of the action.
Yeah, and I think what I'm actually going to do is start with this action right here. So the first thing I'll do is take the action, pull it out, and place it on the bottom, showing me that we're about to take this action. I do the first part, which is to play a card that matches either the sunset, or it'll be sunset, morning, or afternoon, or evening. And you can kind of tell by the color. Also, there's an icon on all the cards.
So this one's a sunset that he has to
So
play.
I can either play this, or I can discard it for 2 coins. Now, each one of these cards is going to have requirements. Money that I have to spend, and resources that I have to produce. Now, we have a certain number of resources here that we can be produced by our little boats that move across, and we're going to start the game with 1 production facility. So I need to decide what production I want to start with.
That's true.
That makes
I'm going to do that while you do. Yeah, it's kind of nice because you're not like throwing resources back and forth except for money. So your resources are just on your board, and all you have to do is
ore here.
Have it. You're starting with ore?
Yeah, but it's a moot point because actually this first turn, I think I'm going to discard a card because I cannot complete I can't play any of the cards in my hand.
Oh, wow.
So I will discard 1. So I'll just set that off to the side. And that's going to give me 2 additional coins if you don't mind handing me those 2 coins. And then I'm going to get this started off with this action, which is called a lever. These will come over here to this side of the player board and basically give me a variable power that I can use over the course of the game. The power that I'm going to choose is this one right here, David. I'm going to spend $4 for that, so I'll need 1 back, and I'll need a lever.
There's your dollar, here's your lever. The levers are cool because these are effectively like usable abilities throughout the game, but only once per scoring phase.
Yeah, and what this one here is saying is that every time I place a tile, either one of these gray tiles or green pastures, I get an inhabitant from the supply, which is very important because those inhabitants can be very hard to get, and you need them for so many different things in the game.
Yeah, everything starts with an inhabitant. If you want a house, it has to have an inhabitant or use inhabitants, and same with the settlement. Same with cattle even.
So that brings me to the action that we can all take, which we can either spend one of our inhabitants to place another lever or draw a card. So we each get to decide that for ourselves. How we're going to do that.
And since this doesn't, some of these do matter for turn order, some of them don't. This one, everyone could do at the same time.
I'm going to spend a guy to take another lever.
I am too,
I'm going to spend 3 coins. Can you hand me a lever?
Yeah.
I'm going to take this one down here that's either going to give me 2 coins at any time,
that's
2
not bad.
cards at any time, or a discount of 1 when I'm playing a card from my hand. That discount of 1 can be very handy.
You know, it's interesting. In the 2 games I played, I haven't seen someone take that one early, but now that I think of it, that's a really good early one to take.
I think these you can only use once per scoring phase. So you're going to use them potentially 4 times. The earlier you get that one, the better it's going to be for you.
Yeah, I am going to take, you know what? I don't have that money, so I'm going to spend one of my inhabitants and spend 2 coins to take a lever, and I'm going to take this one right here. This one allows me to move my boats back. Whenever you need extra resources, you can freely move boats forward down the river, but if you want to move upstream, you have to pay 2 coin to move any amount of 1 boat back downstream so that you can sort of jockey around the river to get whatever resources you need. So I will place that.
Yeah, so that's a little introduction. I mean, these powers are great. I mean, they affect gameplay, so you'll see us using these as we take our future turns. So I'm done with the tile, and that just leaves one more thing to do, is to move my boat up to 3 spaces. So I am going to move 3, which is just going to land me on a 1 coin space, so I'll just grab a coin. And these spaces are going to get progressively better as you head downriver. So with that, I'm done. We're going to slide these back up, and the order you'll see has now changed. It's important to note, as you saw, the higher the tile, the more spaces you'll get to move your ship. The lower the tile, you actually have to pay victory points. So if you want to just keep using the same tiles over and over again, you're going to be paying for that.
Well, I've got an idea.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, but I just changed my mind. I had a whole idea that I was going to handle.
You had a whole idea.
I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do it. So I'm going to take that knight action right there.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
one. So if you can
one.
move that down.
So are you going to play a knight card or discard one?
I'm going to play a knight card. I'm going to play this card here. It's going to cost me $5, a wood and a stone. I have the stone and my boats are the wood, so I have that. So I just need to pay my $5. And this is an instant that's going to let me increase my production on cards, which lets me, my income, go down here. So after each scoring round, you're going to collect cards and maybe some points, and you're going to collect gold and maybe some points. These are the two basic income tracks. So I'm going to play that down here below my board, and I also get a vase. These are kind of a unique resource that just come in every once in a while for unique cards that are particularly powerful. So now I have one to play.
Yeah, you can trade those in some spots, and some cards require vases.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying I have one, but I might. And then the main action there is to take an inhabitant and put them on the board, or to take an inhabitant or house or something you have on the board and sort of upgrade it. So I am going to actually place this inhabitant out here. And right now, as you can see, we have these spaces here. And when you place, you get what you cover up. So I am going to place right here. And that gets me a card. And then I can do that again or play or discard another card. I think I'm going to do it again and place this guy right here for a coin.
All right, I am going to place a guy
I'm sorry. I move. Oh, you're following. I'm sorry.
Because I get, so I'm going to place my guy here for 1 coin. If you could. Thank you.
And then I can move my ship up to 3. 1, 2, 3.
Remember, it leapfrogs too, so you don't count the space.
So I wouldn't land here. I'd go 1, 2, and then jump over and get that. So that's what I'm going to do.
And get a coin as well.
And get a coin.
All right.
And then those move up, and it's your turn.
All right. Let's see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this tile here, which is one I like quite a bit.
It is a big one. So this tile here is, I feel, frequently used in the first part of the game.
Right.
And maybe less so later, and you'll see why. I'm going to be looking. Oh, and it's also unique in that the last part of this tile, Ryan does not get to do, because the first part is, I think, particularly strong.
A double line here instead of an arrow. I actually don't have a card to play, so I'm sacrificing my card play here, which is too bad.
Oh, you're not even going to discard.
No, I really like the card I have. I just can't play it yet. So I'm going to do this action instead. I'm going to place 2 gray structures out. I'm going to place one here, which is covering an assistant or an inhabitant. So I gain an inhabitant to my player board. And I'm going to place the other one here, which is covering a wood factory. So I get to take my wood production and I get to... If I already had it built, it would go up to a +2, but I don't, so it's just going to give me +1. So right now I'm generating potentially 3 wood.
And you've just reminded me that that's one of the things that I like to do at the beginning of this game, is to reach out there and get these. There's factories all over for the different resources, and they are basically first come, first served.
And then I get to place a guy or upgrade. I could upgrade this guy out here to a house. I'm not going to. I want to place another guy out right here.
For 2 coins?
To get 2 more coins. So if you could...
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I think it's not bad.
Money can be tight in this game, but it also can then, you can turn a money engine on to the point where you have a lot of money to spend, but it definitely comes and goes.
Money is definitely tight, for sure.
It comes and goes. And I can, my follow action is to draw 2 cards, which that's nice. And then I can play or discard a card.
Oh, I need to move my boat 3 times as well, so... Are you going to... Actually, I could just do it while you're deciding.
I'm just going to discard a card, so
I'm going to go 2 spaces, actually, and I'm going to land here and grab 2 coins. Sorry, I'm reaching past you. So, 1, 2 more coins.
I'm going to do this action right here, Ryan, if you can do the honors and bring that to the bottom. Here? It's a knight action.
You know what? While you're deciding your card, I just took the action to place these tiles, and I forgot to trigger my lever. So I'm just going to do that really quick.
So that just gets you a guy, right?
It just gets me an inhabitant.
I can't play a card because they're all too expensive for me, so I'm going to discard another card for 2 coins. Then I get a inhabitant, which I need. And then I can place 1 gray. I will take this one. I think I'm going to place it right here and get $2.
Nice. And that's one that gets you one of those vases.
And then the next thing we can do, the action that I can do and Ryan can follow, is we can spend any combination of 3 coins or 3 cards as many times as we want to get extra inhabitants. But this early in the game is rough.
Do I want to get rid of 3 cards for that?
So neither of us are going to do that. So now I move my ship up to 3. I'm
so
going to
land in the port there?
1, 2, 3, go to the port and get another vase.
Port spaces are unique. We could both stop there. If I really wanted that vase, I could stop there as well.
Yeah, it is space for all.
Okay, so I think I've made my decision. I'm going to do this action here, which is the cattle action. We haven't seen this one yet. So first thing I'm going to do is play a card. I'm going to play the Sheriff. He cost me 6 coins, which is quite a bit. It's almost every coin I have left. But he instantly gives me 1 on this card income, which is nice. And at the end of the game, I'm going to get 1 point for every one of these houses that I have built. So, got to get on those houses.
That's pretty good.
And then I'm going to place one of these
pastures
out. And
we didn't mention this, I don't think. When you're placing these hex tiles, they have to be placed next to tiles that are already on the board. So we're effectively growing out to some of these other spaces. So it gets very strategic there because you don't want to place right next to a juicy spot. Well, if you place here, I might grab the stone.
That's true.
That sort of thing.
I'm going to place it
not to telegraph
here actually and gain $2, which I've got over here in a little pile. And then we can each place a
cattle.
Spend 1 guy and put a cattle out.
All right.
Cattle are good. They give you income. They also can get you points at the end of the game.
I'm going to go ahead and spend a guy to put a cattle out here.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Or you could have played a card or sold a card.
I'm good.
All right, and then I get to move my boat 3 spaces. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go, I don't want the vase really. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and get 2 more coins back. I really need the money, so. And then that's it for my turn. We're nearing the first scoring round already.
Yes, we are. It is getting close. I am going to, I'm going to do this day action right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I am going to play this day card right here. It just costs $6, as you can see. So I think I have $6 here. There's 1, 2, 3.
You got 6.
5, 6. So I'm going to play that, and as you can see, it's going to increase my income on the gold. And then it has end of game scoring for anything I have in the southern area.
Oh, wow, you're already kind of building that southern area up.
Yeah. So that's my card played. And then the next thing I get to do is put out 2 gray hexes. So I'm going to take 2 gray hexes, take a look at them.
And then I can do my part of the action, which is to draw 2 cards. And then I got to decide if I'm going to play one or discard one.
I'm going to go right here.
Okay.
And take a stone. So my stone's up to 2. And then I'm going to go right here.
Okay.
And take the loam, by the way. This red material is loam, which is basically clay used to put stuff together.
I might just discard a card here for $2. I'm going to discard this bank and get $2.
I can't do the second action because I don't have a person on my board. I can't even upgrade one of these because I need a person to do that. So then I move
1 space on your boat.
1 and get 2 cards.
All right, I'm going to slide this up, and then I'm going to play. I like this action right here. I'm going to do this one again, the one that lets me place out those levers. And I have a card that I can play for 6. It costs 2 stone and 2 blue. So I can get up here and I can produce 1 stone, and I can get over here and produce 2 blue. So I'm 1 stone short, so I'm going to use that discount lever I got.
Nice.
And it cost me 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, that's a good card.
And it's going to, all future levers cost me 2 less. Which means I can spend 1 to get one of these levers that normally costs 3. And I'm going to take the one that lets me upgrade. If I choose to, I cannot do the follow action that everyone gets to do. And I could do an upgrade instead. So can you hand me 1 lever, please? Appreciated. Let's put that there. And then we could all pay one worker to do it again, or draw a card. I don't have any more money, and
well, I have to draw a card
because
I don't have
free one.
I need inhabitants badly.
I feel like I'm gonna need to move my boat back down the aisle here in a second. But no, I think I'd need cards more. I'm gonna draw a card. Did you do the same thing?
I did, because I don't have an inhabitant to use.
All right, and then I can move up to 3. I could gain an inhabitant, or I could gain the production factory. I think I'm gonna go here and increase my production by 1. But what do I want to increase? Actually, I think I want another one of these.
Not bad, not bad.
Level up my iron production to 2. Plus my boat is there, so I'm getting 3. Yeah, I like that. I just need to figure out a way to get some money now.
Yeah, I am a little
That's it for me.
low on the money.
Hey, you got more money than I do.
I got $2.
I got $0.
Well, that's true then. That's how math works.
That is how math. Yep, that's how math works.
Well, that's going to make things a little interesting here. Oh, well, let's see. That's an interesting option. There's one tile up here that I haven't seen used a lot in my two games, and that's this tile here, because you're not playing a card. Well, you are playing a card.
Yeah, but you can play any card and get $3.
You're taking money, and that might help you play the card you're wanting to get played. Right. It still is not enough to help me play the card I want to get played, but I...
Oh, the $3 isn't enough?
$3 is not enough to get the card that I wanted to play. I'll take that brown
this one right
tile.
here?
Yeah.
So you get your $3 first, right?
Yep, $3. So that takes me up to 5.
And you can play a card, or you could draw 2.
Oh, is it draw?
Play a card or draw 2.
Draw 2. I got cards.
I could play
cards is not the problem.
Huh? I'm not gonna play a card. I'm just gonna discard this card for 2 coins, which is all I could do anyway. So that's my whole action. Oh, actually, hold on a second. Wait a minute. I have a lever. Ooh, I have a lever to not take that action and get a free upgrade, or do an upgrade on the board instead.
Yeah. Well, let me take my action first. I'm going to take this card and play it. It's the trading house. It's going to cost me 2 wood, 1 loam, which I have, and 3 of those coins. So I'll take 3 of those coins back. I play this. This lets me increase my card production or income again.
You're doing well with production this time.
I'm doing a little bit more on the production front. I like laying a foundation to get more stuff done later.
So we both get to do this action now. Play a card or discard a card for 2 coins. And I'm going to skip it. I'm going to use my lever to skip it, which is great for me because I get to do a free, not a free upgrade, but I get to do an upgrade.
I'm going to discard a card for 2 coins.
Now, every time you upgrade, every upgrade has a cost. I'm going to turn one of my inhabitants into a house, which is going to cost me. So it costs me 1 inhabitant. So I have to spend my inhabitant, but I get to take one of these houses.
Which one?
I get to place it out. I'm going to copy this, or cover this one here.
So effectively, you're losing 2 inhabitants total, the one that you placed and the one
the one that you placed is already gone, basically.
Sure. And replacing it with a house.
Yeah, I need to find a way to get more inhabitants.
Yeah, and this is just the house. It's the trail to settlements. Settlements on the border are going to make your cattle score more points when you have them. Also, as you remove things from your player board, you're going to uncover money and points that you're going to get during income. So it's definitely something you want to do is clear off your board.
So where are you heading?
I've got 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3.
And remember, this port does count because we can both stop there.
Yeah, I am going to go there. 1, 2, 3.
And I'm the factory or the vase?
Not the vase.
I
got 2 vases. I'm gonna level up.
Yeah, planning ahead too.
I'm gonna level up my iron.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna slide these up here.
So we're almost. This is gonna be it. Because not necessarily. If he chooses a low one and moves 1 or 2, which he might.
I might have to.
He might.
I might actually.
And whoever does cross this channel here, or this lock, after their turn, you immediately stop and do the interim scoring before the next person picks up their turn.
I think I'm going to do this night one, though, right here. That gets me...
Oh, well, that'll move you. I mean, not
That'll move
necessarily.
me up to 3 spaces if I want. But first thing I'm going to do is sell a night card because I'm very low on money. So I'm going to sell a night card for $2 back. That was pretty good. And then I gain an inhabitant, which I've got here. Then I place out a gray tile. I'm going to place this gray tile here, which is going to give me another inhabitant for covering up that spot. That's good. I've got 2 inhabitants now. And I could discard, we could both discard cards to gain another inhabitant. David, up to 3 cards or $3 to gain another inhabitant.
Yeah, I'm considering that right now.
I'm just going to be safe and happy with my 2. And I'm not going to move 3. I'm actually going to just move 1 space because I really need that money. The $2 is a lot for me. So
I am going to... Yeah, I'm not going to discard. I really need an inhabitant, but I'm not doing it.
all right.
All right, back to me. And you just
you'll
moved
have,
1?
I did. I really needed the $2.
Oh, all right.
So you have the potential to start the scoring round right here.
That is true. I don't know that I want to do that, but I do.
Well, there is an element of timing because starting off the second round, like, it can be, I don't know, because you're going to get income right now from scoring. So you want to make sure that you're in a position to use it. It's an interesting decision to make.
Yeah, and there's some tiles we haven't used here, so you probably won't see. So I'm going to explain this. This one up here that probably won't get used this round on camera, that allows you to effectively take one of these bonuses in one of the 4 regions. Like I could go here and score 4 coin really quick. But then all of the other 3 give coins to all players for each of their presences in there. So I would get 2 coins here, 1 coin here. I'd get 3 coins, and Ryan would get 3 coins.
Yeah, so you could get up to 7 coins with that. So, I mean, it's not a... Maybe I should have done that one earlier.
No, it is... in the second game I played, that was used a lot more early, or a lot earlier and a lot more frequently.
It can really help you build up that money instead of scrimping and scrounging for every coin.
For sure. So I am going to take the blue... this action right here.
Not the animal one, huh?
No. The cattle one?
Yeah.
No. I'm going to play this day card here. Not play it. I'm actually just discarding it for 2 coins.
Then you can put out 2 gray tiles.
And I will take 2 gray tiles and get them out. I'm going to go here for 3 cards. And here for wood production.
Nice.
So I'm going to get finally some wood production going so I can move my boats. And I get 3 cards.
And I get 2 cards. Oh, and you get to put a guy out or upgrade.
I don't have an inhabitant still. I've inefficiently used this action twice now.
Yes, you have. I think I'm going to play...
But I'm a sucker for getting those factories.
I can't play this card. I can't move my boats back. So that being said, I'm actually going to get rid of this card. I'm just going to sell it for $2. So now I'll be in a little bit better of a situation. So are we scoring or are you taking the 2 cards?
I'm going to move.
Well, you're definitely going to move.
1, 2.
All right.
So I get my 2 coins for that.
And now we'll score.
And now we score.
So a scoring round.
Scoring is right up here. This goes through interim scoring each time. The first thing that's going to happen, and this is technically before you score, is you can play a card. Now you can't discard it for money. You can either play a card or upgrade an inhabitant or house on the board.
Twice.
And you can do that twice, any combination. So, and we can probably do this together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
because there's no board state changes in terms of placement.
I'm going to play 1 card for $3. This distillery, which is going to move me up 1 on this coin income track here, which is really nice. And then I am going to upgrade. I'm going to spend 1 of my inhabitants to upgrade this guy by placing a house down instead. Now, I just did something unique. If you can see on my player board here, I cleared out the entire first row of buildings. So my cattle and my 2 houses are gone, which means I unlock this inhabitant here for free, and he'll join my little hangout area. So I did both. I did both of those actions.
All right. So I am going to play a couple cards just to get an engine going. So I'm going to play this night card here. It's going to take 3 stone, which I don't have. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm going to move one of my boats up to the stone, so I have the 3 stone, and I have the 1 blue. It's going to cost me 2 coins. This is going to, for the rest of the game, make it so that whenever I get a vase on the river, I get another one.
Oh, we got a couple spots coming up where you'll get vases too.
Yeah. And then this one, very similar. It's going to take 1 loam and 1 rock, which I have, and 4 coins, which I also happen to have. And this one's going to give me an extra coin whenever I get a coin on the river.
Well, that's really good, actually.
For the rest of the game, this tells Ryan that I'm going to be slow rolling the river.
You might be. I mean, that's I did that last time I played because I had those cards very similar.
So those are my 2 cards. You did the same thing.
I did a card and upgrade.
And now is the actual scoring part. We're going to go down to the scoring where we each choose one of these tiles to score.
We've each got 4 scoring tiles that are labeled 1 through 4, 1 victory point through 4 victory point. If you've completed one of these, you can simply place your token underneath it. We'll score 1 point this round. It'd be second on the second, third, etc. If you haven't completed any one, you'll actually lose this point. I'm going to claim the one you put out here, playing blue and or sunrise and daytime cards. Because I need to have 0 of one and 1 of the other, which I've got. I'm going to claim this one now and get 1 point because I think I'm actually doing pretty well on all 3 of these.
Yeah.
So I think I will be able to meet. And this one is mine. So I want to make sure that I have fulfilled this one by the end of the game.
So this is 0 presents in either Southern or New Hope, which I have.
And 1 presence in the other, which you have. You've got 0 in New Hope and 1 in Southern currently.
Oh, and this requires more
eventually 3
This
and 4.
One scares me a little bit just because this one can be affected by what you do a lot more.
And me trying to get that one could be affected by you too. You could block me out of that one.
True.
It is scary. But that's
and this is yours, so I know. So this is the one where he can score double points. So theoretically, he's going to want to do this when it's big.
But if I see you blocking me, I can cash it out early.
True.
I still get double. I get 2 extra points instead of 4 extra points.
Oh, and this is one's. No, I'm probably going to wait on that one. I assume you are, since you already have 3 levers.
I already have 3 of them. I only need 8 total.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do this as well. No, you know what? I'm doing this. So I get 1 point because I have 0 in one and 1 in the other.
We've both got 1 point.
And this gets a lot more interesting later. And don't forget, these projects can be taken, which happens typically later in the game.
Yeah, because they're expensive.
And these projects can be done anytime you were to play a card and you choose not to.
Right.
You can do a project instead. So the next thing is income. So we're going to start up here. We each get $3.
Yep, we both get $3.
You have $3 over there?
1, 2, 3.
And then we go down here. We each get 3 cards.
But you get that extra victory point.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So let's take the 3. So that's our main board income, and then we have player board income. So I've got,
you got
1 victory point from having this guy. I've got 2, 4, $5. So I actually need 2 more dollars from you.
You cleared off your board pretty early there in the first round.
I started to, yeah. And I would score, each of my cattle, which I have 1 cattle, scores 1 victory point for every settlement around it, which is this bigger building, not a single one on the board. So
and it's
no points there.
It's important to note, too, that he gets points for even other players' settlements that are around him. So as players build around each other, strategically placed cattle can score some points at this point. I don't get any points for that, but I do get another $1 for uncovering that cattle. And then we go over to our levers. Any levers that had been used get moved up.
Yep.
Any levers that weren't used, like mine, get me a point.
Yep, 1 victory point.
And then finally, if we'd use that 1 tile that I'd mentioned where these move on, these all move off, and we're ready for another round. And we basically just pick up where we left off. Now, just to point out, this is just going to keep flowing just like you've seen over this first sort of round, if you will, until we get over to this right here. As soon as someone crosses this, the same exact thing will happen. And after we go through all of that scoring phase, both ships are going to be taken back to the top of the board at the start of the river.
We'll do round 2.
And we're going to do round 2, round 3 effectively.
Effectively, if you want to call it that.
Down to this point again, but this point, we're going to split on this side of the fork and this is where we'll end the game.
Yeah, and if it seems like we didn't score a lot of points in the first round, this is one of those games where it really curves. Because as you start clearing out your board and getting more things out there, you'll start to get more and more points.
Yeah, just to give you a sense of what that is, and we'll probably tell you in the wrap-up, we just scored 2 and 3 points in the first round, and in our first few games, my first 2 games, I scored 205 and 238 points, and Ryan scored 240-ish, right? So
we'll see how it goes.
Does ramp up significantly, which I really love, but we'll tell you all about that when we come back.
All right, see you guys soon.
All right, welcome back. The dust is settled. Boonlake is over. Game 3 in the books for me. Game 2 for Ryan. And 2 is all it took for Ryan to learn a lot because he handily increased his score while I had my worst score yet in 3 games. Ryan won 271 to my meager 196. Now, I will point this out, though. When we last talked, we were at like 2 and 3 points.
Right, we had just started.
Like we had just started, so we played the whole game. But that was after 2 and 3 points was after 1 of 4 scoring cycles. And after 3 more, we were up in 203 and 100, or in the 200 range. So what did you think after your second play in general?
I mean, obviously I learned a lot from my first play.
Yeah.
The first play, I got barely any in-game points, if you remember.
Yeah, you didn't have many end-game scoring cards.
I got a lot of points during the game, and you had very few points during the game, but you completely caught up to me.
Started to catch up.
With in-game scoring cards. So I decided to focus, and a lot of that is luck of the draw. Well, there's control of that luck.
Yeah.
Because I did not understand the first play how valuable card draw was, and I wasn't really drawing cards. This game, I played a ton more cards. Having more cards and really taking advantage of any spot or any action that lets you draw cards is great because you'll find those in-game scoring cards, and I happen to find several that synergize with things I was already doing. Early on, even in the first round, I was starting to put out those levers, and I decided I was really going to focus on those because the more levers you have out, the higher the multiplier per lever. So I decided I'm going to get as many of these as possible. Can I get all of them?
And he did.
And I did. Now, there's several things that factor into that. I said this game is a lot like Maracaibo in this aspect, and it proved true for this second play. We slow played it.
We did.
You took a lot of actions that only moved you 1 or 2 spaces, which let me get to the end. I started just moving 1 space at a time to collect all these victory points and make sure that I could get all of these. If you had been rushing with me and we had ended the game even 3 rounds earlier, I would not have gotten all of the in-game scoring I had gotten.
It would have been different. In case, just to illustrate that, by the time Ryan was here where my boat is, I was back here.
Yeah.
So he had actually crossed the scoring. I was way back here. And then he just
I took every one of those actions.
Slow played this and took 3 points, got the 4 points here. And I think I barely just crossed here towards the end on my last turn. So that player control, that's one of my downfalls with these kind of games. Same with Maracaibo. When I played that with Alicia, you think, oh, maybe I'll rush it. But then you're too tempted to do more things and to get more things done, but you have to pay attention to what the other players are doing.
Right, because you were letting me do more things too.
Yeah, exactly. And you were doing things better. You had a more efficient engine going on. I will say one thing about the cards is you really have to kind of almost start to consider them as a resource in the game. You're not really, most people, I think when you play a card game, you don't think of the cards as resources. And these aren't resources in the traditional sense of what you're using here in the game, but they are a resource, obviously for what they do. But there are a lot of things in the game where you can spend cards to get things. You're always able to spend a card to get 2 coins almost every action. But there are plenty of other cards that allow you to, I could discard 5 cards with this one card to get me 8 points or something like that. There's a lot of opportunities like that, and yeah, cards are just as important as money in some cases. Although money kind of rules the day to some degree for me.
Money does rule the day, and me getting income out early, clearing out my board early, getting the extra workers, the extra points, all of that stuff starts to snowball. I was also a lot more careful with my placement. I really didn't have anybody on the board that I didn't upgrade. I have one guy that I placed in the very last round just because I could place him, and he actually got me 8 points, which was worth it. But I tried to upgrade everything I had because I had that one goal that needed 3 in one section and 4 in the other.
Yeah.
And I didn't like last game, I had guys everywhere. Like I had so many things on the board, so many people on the board that never got upgraded, and I think those were wasted actions. So I tried to just be a little more efficient this time. I didn't take any projects really because I thought I could get those points better in other places. Plus, every time I was taking a project was maybe one of these secondary actions that I could have used with one of my levers. Because I had levers that let you skip the secondary action to take a different action. Like this one lets you literally place more levers. I did this a couple times just to keep getting more levers, right? And these as well are super important. But I don't think I can do what I did without cards that made buying levers cheaper.
Yeah, it would be trickier. I mean, I did get 7 levers this game, and I didn't have any discount on levers, which I felt pretty good about because I was sitting on a fair amount of money from time to time. So by the end of the game, I knew I wanted at least 7 levers. Right. And I know that I was working towards this, which I scored in the 3rd round, which is based on the number of levers you had. So I wanted to get up there. Levers, I would say, almost feel like a necessity in the game. I don't know if there's anything I'd say you have to do this, but I would say you have to get some levers a little bit. You have to clear your board off. And that's really what putting all these things out there on the board is about.
Yeah, I think, too, that's another place I benefited from. You kind of spread yourself out a little bit. When you build together, you gain presence, which you need to upgrade some of your buildings. Plus, your cattle benefit from having settlements around them. And it doesn't matter which player is there.
Yeah.
So I tried to build kind of close to you where possible, or I tried to place cattle in places I thought maybe you'd upgrade to a settlement to try to benefit from those points.
Yeah, you definitely want to intermingle. In fact, I mean, based on the count of the different things you're putting on the board and the fact that there's 4 different regions, I'm thinking theoretically you want to have little clusters, but clusters.
Right.
You don't want to spread, like I don't have clusters. I have like random like houses and people standing around. But if you have, at the end of the game, a settlement with a house, a couple of houses and some cows, settlement, settlement, settlement with those things, you're going to have your 4 settlements out. Plus, the game kind of encourages you not to put settlements in the same region because you have to spend 5 victory points.
I did it one time, but it was worth it, actually.
Yeah, and there are things that you can do. In fact, there are locations where you can do that where it makes it kind of a wash because you'll get 5 points for doing that. And like Ryan said, I mean, it is the cards are vital. I ended up, I think when we first started, when we ended the first round, I had 4 cards. You had 3. I ended with 19 cards played.
I didn't even count mine.
Some of which were end of game scoring, and then of course you got to know that all the cards have scoring at the bottom. Just this one isn't end of game scoring, but this card was worth 6 points.
Yeah, I had 17 cards. That was close.
Yeah, so it does a variety of different things. I would say if you're an Alexander Pfister fan, I can't imagine you not liking this game. I think the mechanic here of pulling these tiles, which you saw us do in the first round, is very interesting. I like how that goes. None of us ever did one of these where you spend points.
I thought about it to get my last cattle out, but it just wasn't worth it.
And we haven't played 3 and 4 players. I think I want to really see what the cycle of that is and how it feels like, because that could be a very, very different experience. For me, I'll tell you, my first impressions of this is, after playing it 3 times, this might end up being one of, if not my favorite, Pfister game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of his better games, but
it just feels
Great
like
Western Trail has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, so. I know, and Great Western Trail is great. I like Maracaibo actually better than Great Western Trail.
I like Maracaibo too, and this
feels like a streamlined Maracaibo.
Well, there's elements of Maracaibo present in here with the income tracks, the multi-use cards, the moving down the player-controlled river.
The biggest thing, though, compared to those 2 games, not that they're not satisfying, this game, from a turn-to-turn satisfaction level,
you get a lot of satisfying turns.
It's crazy. And I love that. When you take a turn, there's very few turns in this game where you feel like you're not doing a lot. And then to cap that off, when everyone else is taking their turn, you also generally get to do something. So there's like little to no downtime.
Yeah, and the fact that you're getting possibly 2 actions from the tile, the card could give you an action out on the board. You could be taking 3 actions. You could skip some of those actions to use your levers, which give you more actions. So you could be doing a lot of stuff, even on other players' turns. There were moments where I was passing on the action to use a lever that let me upgrade something on the board, which let me do something else. Like it's a pretty satisfying loop.
Yeah, I'd say one of the, just to give you an example before we sign off, one of the most satisfying turns I had, to give you an example, I had little to no money, And I had a lever here that allowed me, if I had the opportunity to play a card or discard it for money, I could not do that, use the lever, and get money according to my production, which I maxed out.
Yeah, you had 8.
It gave me $8. Then on the next turn, I played a card that allowed me to immediately put a lever back up into the up position, and I was able to ratchet that off again. So I had $16 all of a sudden, where I had none before, and $16 is going to get like maybe 3-4 cards played.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Yeah, so really satisfying game. We'll probably have a review up on this sometime between now and the end of this year, so be sure to check that out. But until next time, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.